Welcome to Place and Experience. Indulge your senses with immersive game titles. Boost the excitement with our engaging promotional tools and generous network promotions. Be in control with XI Viewport Management Tool and experience seamless gameplay powered by X Platform. Enjoy Place and Experience as our partners do in over 20 regulated markets. And get ready to go big. Big play is on. Placent.
And we are live. Excuse me, I just had to unmute myself. We've only been doing this a couple of years, every single week, Nico. So, of course, I forget to turn off mute when the pod starts. Hello, everybody, and welcome to your latest edition of the Next.io weekly news. And thank you straight away to Placent for sponsoring this episode. Nico, we've got a very special episode today because in just a few minutes, we're going to be joined by John Gordon, who is, as many of you will know, the co-founder and CEO of Incentive Games, a free-to-play game supplier who are partnered with enormous names in our industry like Bet365 and many others. So stick around for the next few minutes and we're going to get the inside track on what it's like to build partnerships with major world-leading brands like those in just a few minutes. But first, I'm joined by Nico Jansen from deepest, darkest depths of the German wilderness. Nico, you're out there hiding in the countryside. How are you? Welcome back.
Yeah, so first of all, shout out to you as well. It will be a very, very fun episode because besides being very successful and providing one of the best, places to work in Scotland with Incentive Games, John is actually one of the most funny guys I actually know within our industry. So I'm thrilled to actually, hear some insights about the success which is driving Incentive Games, and to picking up which you just said. Yes, I am in the wilderness of Germany, in the Jansen castle, taking care of everything as mom and dad are away. And guess what? My uncle René Jansen mowing the lawn all the time, as he, is not dealing with KSA anymore. But he's still a fun guy to hang around. And but as said so often, the Jansen family is always taking care of each other, especially, little or well-known René Jansen. And it wouldn't be our podcast if we wouldn't have the fun that we actually have. But how are you, Conor?
I'm good, Nico. Yeah, it's a slightly strange episode for me because, to be honest, I've had some time off this week. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, no work. I was completely MTV unplugged, out walking, enjoying delicious food, not even going to the pub, just having a very quiet, relaxed time. So I have no idea what's been going on in the news. Luckily for me, I have you, the one and only owner of the 10 in 5, where we get the biggest headlines in just a few minutes every single week. So not only do the viewers need bringing up to speed, I need bringing up to speed because I got no idea what's been happening. So, Nico, why don't you lay it on us, the 10 in 5?
Yeah, let me start this episode also with news about DraftKings. No week without news of DraftKings, as they are sued by the NFL Player Association. Why are they sued? The NFL Player Association is suing DraftKings over an anticipated breach of contract that could relate to the sportsbook's shuttered NFT product. So the NFLPA is owed nearly $33 million by one team partners, according to its 2023 annual report, and one team facilitated the initial deal with the NFLPA and DraftKings regarding the NFT marketplace. And as DraftKings shut down this NFT marketplace, there is still some money someone owes to some company as well. So we will just see how this will turn out as well. Better Collective pledges H2 EBITDA recovery. So publishing its interim H1 2024 accounts, the Stockholm and Copenhagen joint listed iGaming Group's date revenues stand at 194 million euros, which represents a 17 on up compared to the 2023 numbers. And CEO and co-founder Jesper Sorgard commented on Q2 results. Our existing business is back to organic growth, despite the exceptionally good performance during the first half of 2023. On the back of that, we have delivered a considerable increase in recurring revenue stemming from both organic and acquired growth, while continuing our North American transition to revenue share as well. Then heading over to the UAE, as Tapaina takes charge of Wynn's UAE resort. Wynn Resort has appointed Max Tapaina as president of Wynn Al Marjan Island, the operator's United Arab Emirates resort, which is currently under development. Tapaina takes on the role from 1st of September this year, after 2 years at Wynn Las Vegas. Heading over to the Netherlands, as KSA orders F1 to remove Stake.com branding from Dutch Grand Prix. KSA commands F1 to remove all advertising related to Stake.com due to the online casino and sports betting brand having no license to operate in the Netherlands. As such, the presence of Stake.com will infringe on the advertising laws of the Netherlands Remote Gambling Act. And speaking of, Bet365 named first sports betting partner of the Champions League. Bet365 has become the first official sports betting partner of the UEFA Champions League in a 3-year deal. If you have followed the overall kind of distribution of Champions League, you are well aware that Bet365 books advertisements due to the overall distribution of UEFA Champions League, but as of now, they are the official and first partner ever of the UEFA. And Alex Sefton, Bet365 Global Chief Marketing Officer, states, as the first sports betting brand to sponsor the UEFA Champions League, we are delighted to be joining a roster of high-profile premier brand partners at such an exciting time for the competition. Heading over to Japan, as Japan police launches investigation into illegal offshore gambling. So the Japan's National Policy Agency, shortly NPA, will begin its first investigation into offshore gambling websites. The agency will conduct a survey with more than 7,000 people in Japan, ranging from teenagers to elderly in their 70s, to identified operators, monetary transactions processed, and trails to get a hold of all illegal gambling. Then straight back to the US, as Caesars activist investor Carl Icahn settles SEC charges. Caesars activist investor Carl Icahn agreed on the 19th of August to settle charges with the US security markets over his failure to disclose the use of company securities as collateral for personal loans. The billionaire activist investor and his company agreed to pay civil penalties of 1.5 million and 500,000 to settle the SEC charges. And now it gets quite funny, as Nevada regulators accuse Resort World of major AML failings. The Nevada Gaming Control Board filed a disciplinary complaint on Thursday against Resorts World Las Vegas and its parents and affiliated companies, as well as individuals working for the property, to not meet the standard of its anti-money laundering AML program. And if you're taking a guess like, okay, what are they talking about? Pretty simple. Matthew Bowyer, which made headlines earlier this year when he was charged with operating an illegal sports betting ring with clients, including Shohei Ohtani's ex-interpreter Ipai Misuhara. And this guy submitted a $5,000 credit application to Resorts World in 2021. That was later converted to a 1 million front money application. So the 94-year-old was allowed to wager at Resort World in 2022 after making a 1 million front money deposit, for each and everybody to understand, in cash, despite the casino not establishing a source of funds after receiving his application. Guess what? This is what failing an AML is all about. Someone depositing 1 million in cash and you don't even dare to ask, where's this money from? Okay, but good that people are taking care of this one as well. And 2 more to come, as Betting Hero finally sold to co-founders and GeoComply for 37 million. So as already announced, this deal was established a couple of months ago, and now it's safe, sealed, and done. And last but not least, Brazil, 113 companies apply for online gambling licenses. A total of 113 companies have officially applied for federal licenses to operate online gaming and betting in Brazil, with over 50 applications submitted just this Thursday, the final day for submission. So, as said so often, it will be quite interesting to watch out for the Brazilian market. And this has been my 10 in 5.
Very nicely done, Nico. It's about 10 in 10 today, I think. I know that obviously, naturally, you're a very keen timekeeper, always very punctual, except for some reason when it comes to the 10 in 5. But I don't think we should keep the viewers waiting any longer. We have a very quick video message to share, and straight after that, we're going to get John onto the pod with us so we can talk all about his latest deal at Incentive Games with Bet365. First of all, Nico, just a quick message from one of our sponsors.
Tens of thousands of games, hundreds of studios, dozens of Hub Market partners, an industry-leading Hub wallet, and just one API. Hub 88 is connecting businesses to a world of limitless content where the possibilities are endless. Hub 88.
There you have it. Apologies if I'm a bit laggy today. I'm having a bit of a slow connection day, but that's okay. It's not about me today, Nico. The other 364 days a year, sure, it's about me. But today it's all about John Gordon. So I think we should welcome our very special guest onto the stream with us. And here he is, John. No, he's gone and he's back. John, welcome to the stream. How are you? Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I'm proud to be part of this illustrious podcast with you both.
Illustrious is absolutely the right word, and one that's been used to describe us many times before, I'm sure. So just to give people a bit of background, I mean, Nico, you've already mentioned Bet365 once in your 10 in 5. They're going to be sponsoring the UEFA Champions League. Obviously can't do front of shirt sponsors anymore, so well, sod it, let's do the whole league. I'm already using my beautiful blue Stoke pottery from the Millport Pottery, Bet365's neighbours down there in Stoke-on-Trent. And John, we're very lucky to be joined by you because just last week your company Incentive Games announced a new partnership, or certainly an extended partnership, with Bet365. But before we get into the details of how a deal like that works, why don't you give us a bit of a background first about Incentive Games and what you guys are all about?
Yeah, thanks, Conor. Yeah, for those that don't know, Incentive Games were primarily a free-to-play games provider, the number one in the world in this industry. we provide daily free casino and free-to-play sports games to the likes of Sky Bet, Bet365, FanDuel, LiveScore, Virgin Bet. We tend to work with the sort of tier ones in the industry in each region, but now we're actually specializing in arcade pay-to-play arcade style games like Plinko and such. So we've got a new suite of products that we're excited to launch on the real money side as well. So really excited about those.
Fab. And I know you mentioned that you're working primarily with tier one operators. Obviously, in markets like the UK, there's an enormous long tail, let's say, of these much smaller operators. I don't know how you can compare working with those tier one operators, maybe with some of your previous experiences. Do you think there's a big difference when it comes to these real household names that you're working with in terms of how you form and maintain a partnership?
Yeah, I mean, we're very fortunate to be able to work with the likes of the FanDuels and the 365s of the world and Sky Bets and LiveScore. Yeah, we have worked in the past with sort of tier 3s and tier 4s about 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago. But when it gets to working with the best and the best, when the people on the other side of the fence, we're working with operators that really understand product, and they see that incentive games aren't a silver bullet. We do have the best in class products, but you really need to understand the user journey and the psychology of the user upstream, and how do we seamlessly entertain them through our games and seamlessly offer them downstream products as well. So it is more of a holistic journey that we're on, whether it be the CRM side. We do focus more on retention than acquisition, but we do a lot of acquisition through LiveScore to LiveScore Bet, for example. But more and more often, like working with the incentive games, our free-to-play games work very well because our clients have got the best product. They have the best sportsbook. They have the best casinos. If we are working with, if you're 21st in the market and you have an incentive games product there, the customers won't stay because they're a free-to-play game. They'll stay because the overall product is best in class. So it has worked. This incentive games free-to-play products anyway sort of sit with the top of the best in each region, pretty much.
Yeah, I see what you mean. So you recently launched a free-to-play game called Prize Matcher with Bet365. Can you explain to us how and where that kind of fits into the customer journey? So it's not so much an acquisition tool, it's maybe more of a retention tool for a brand like 365. So where does it fit, and what's the objective both for you and for the operator when you're offering these games?
Yeah, I would say Prize Matcher is probably, apart from our reward machine in America for FanDuel, the sort of jewel in the crown. It's in 130 countries. The numbers are unbelievable from a retention perspective and a volume perspective, may I add. So yeah, it's about getting the users to enjoy the free-to-play product every day. It's a daily free casino game, but it's on a weekly basis, so they're collecting, progressing throughout the week, and it's segmented, so we're rewarding the right customers the right amount. We're very proud to say that it's also a conversion tool. So I think it's our first conversion tool that's made it at the top of the Bet365 banner. So as soon as you come onto Bet365, it was the first banner there, which is the first time they've ever had a sort of casino product on their sportsbook. It's so predominant as that. So it's quite a watershed moment for us and Bet365.
So just jumping in on that question. So, you already told us about it's a holistic view. So what is how quickly can a free-to-play game like you're offering be integrated into an operator's offering or landscape? And second, what is the tricky part of integrating your offerings usually into the landscape of any operator?
I mean, we tend not to hold things up. We're nearly 100 people in my company here, and we're all in-house developers and scientists and engineers, but we need to be adaptable to our clients' own development pipeline. So we are here to fit into their pipeline. So we just signed four of the biggest operators that I didn't list there. I can't announce them on this pod, but that fill the gaps. And so again, we need to just fit in with those big operators. Some of them are listed companies, so we just fit into their schedules and do the integration when it works for them. The trickiest bit is basically just massaging these, because they're all sort of bespoke product. We don't do white label. They're all sort of for the Sky Bet Match 5 product, or the prize match for Bet365 or reward machine for FanDuel. They are a piece of art, and a lot of the time it's more about the segmentation piece and how that fits into the whole user journey, and how we can prove that that's improving the user life cycle and the lifetime value and such. So it's really about making sure that we're not over rewarding certain customers and rewarding other types of customers properly. And that's the real science and data and AI behind it. It's beautiful when it works. And we've been doing this for long enough that we've had a lot of home runs in the last few years. In fact, pretty much all of them have been.
So how does regulation affect your business? Is there any correlation in the more tighter regulation becomes, the more willingness of free-to-play games actually occurs? Is there any correlation?
So generally, free-to-play is, on the operator side, there's no real, well, in 130 countries, it's on a case-by-case basis. Sometimes in parts of Europe, it needs to be bonus cash. It can't be cash. And there's all sorts of restrictions in Italy and Spain, but there's a few and far between. In North America, it's like a vendor license per state that we have. But as I say, though, we're going into pay to play, or more pay to play, like crash style games. They can't wait to show you guys, but those we need supplier licenses, and we've applied for those in North America, or the UK software license, or the Maltese license. So we are doing those region by region and then rolling those out through aggregators. So although incentive games, free-to-play products are very sort of bespoke and one of a kinds, the sort of arcade style games can go to mass market as well.
So as we covered the business side, besides, and you already mentioned this one as well, dealing with the top-notch operators, providing or fitting into their landscape with top-notch products, and we wouldn't be sitting here with you smiling all over your face, as success actually is linked to your name as well. So besides offering this top-notch and well-demanded additional vertical to operators, you're also labeled as one of the best employers in the industry. So how does this also affect your business?
That's a great question. I appreciate it. We've been doing a 4-day week for 20 months now, and I don't think anyone's left the company. So we're a very results-driven company, and we retain the staff. So a few years ago, we realized we're the best in the world at retaining customers for our clients. And then we realized, wait a minute, we had a normal churn rate of any normal company in the world. So we realized if we could stop the churn rate and retain our employees the same way we're great at retention on customers, we would find that we would retain their experience, and our output would be an exponential growth of experience, and it would improve our product. So we doubled down on that, and we did a 4-day week, and all the employees have share options in the company, and we do everything we can to make it one of the best places in the UK to work, and we won some awards within that. But it sort of comes natural to me and Stuart, the CEO, in terms of just looking after the people and being open and honest with them. And what we've found is, because no one's left and we've kept the great experience and all those great people, the culture is great and people love to stay in, and we're able to provide such a great service to our clients that we believe we're a good partner to work with. So, and that's a sort of virtuous cycle, the flywheel, what we call it it's quite a joy to see a sort of 20 months in, it works for us, but it wasn't always easy, but we're seeing the benefits now.
And just touching down on this 4 days of work week policy, which first of all it was a test run, and then you just came up with the policy. Has this changed the overall landscape and efficiency within your company? Because this is one of the main thing which obviously hinders some people to actually come up with a 4 days work week as well.
Yeah, I mean, there's a perception that 80 doesn't equal 100, right? So that 80 hours, 80% of the hours cannot equal the same output. But again, like I said, it's not about timesheets, and it's not about people sitting at their desk. We are a very output-driven company. When we need to deliver, we always deliver, and we always deliver on time, bug-free, and it does what we expected it to do in terms of user retention and such. So the beauty of it is it was a bit of a leap of faith, but because we did it, not only did we not lose anyone, we could then hire all the best engineers. So I do have the best product engineers, the best software engineers. We're able to go out and acquire these amazing, talented people and then retain them. So it is a great aspect of what we do. But on top of that, we also have 24-hour support, right? So it's not like, Bet365 call on a Friday and we say, oh, no one's here. We've got 10 games with Bet365, several sports games, casino games, and so on and so forth. So there is layers of technical support. It's just our day-to-day week is 4 days a week.
No, it sounds like a good way of doing business, John. I certainly like the idea of it. I've kind of heard at conferences and things in the past that in many ways the iGaming sector is still considered a little bit young and a little bit nascent to introduce something like a 4-day week en masse. I'm really pleased to hear that it's worked for you. And you do read a lot about it, and I think the emphasis is always on the very positive side. I think there are a lot of positives to doing something like that. But you mentioned yourself that there's been lots of challenges associated with it. So, what kind of hiccups or teething problems or challenges did you have to contend with to introduce this policy?
If I'm honest, it was just a psychological, barrier for us to overcome at the start. If I'm totally honest, we've seen perceived increased in productivity, and we've done things where we did a survey after 6 months. We didn't tell our clients, and we did a survey, and we asked them if they spotted any difference in our productivity, and they didn't notice. So we make sure we keep the level of service there as high, always continually improving, and then just looking after our staff, just hiring more people to make sure that there is no degradation of service, and just making sure everybody is as happy as we can be while they're at work. So I would say that we're maybe an extreme case, but we've never really had much of a teething problem. It's just that leap of faith to do it, and then you don't look back.
Yeah. And Nico often mentions the fact that he simply is not capable of taking a day off. He loves his work far too much. I wonder for you and your COO as co-founders of the business, does the 4-day week extend to your own hours? Are you able to benefit from that as well? Or do you sometimes find yourself doing 5, 6, or even 7 days a week?
Yeah. We've been doing this for 10 or 11 years. So we've been sort of sprinting 7 days a week for eight of them, pretty much. But Stuart and I, the CEO, were dropping our kids off at school on Friday morning, and then we ended up just working the rest of the day together because we were chatting away. And that was our day off. So yeah, I think the exec team don't really get to turn their brains off, but it's a good thing for the staff, I suppose.
Absolutely, yeah. I want to bring you back a little bit to the upcoming launch of the pay-to-play games. You mentioned Crash games and things. I'm just wondering what the distribution channels for those games are going to be. Are they going to go through the same operators that you're already partnered with? Have you got new partnerships in the pipeline?
That's a great question. I don't know anyone that noticed, but we were on the canvas at UFC on Saturday night. So on the UFC 305 Incentive Games logo was on the canvas and all over the place. So we're doing a partnership with the UFC, TKO. We're providing the games to Flutter and the likes of Bet365 and others directly, but we're also thinking, we are doing a big distribution deal. Two big distribution deals are in the pipeline that I'll be able to announce. Hopefully we'll come back and announce those. But I do think the arcade style games can just go out en masse. They're pretty special, and I think we wouldn't just go toe to toe with like Scribe and others if we didn't have our own secret sauce. So I'm really excited about how we're going to differentiate in the market with those.
Does this feel like a kind of paradigm shifting inflection point for the business that you're expanding into pay to play and kind of, maybe doubling your revenue streams? Let's say, is it a new era for you?
Yeah, I mean, we've done RNG, random number generator games in the past. Like during COVID, when all the live sport events were cancelled, we created virtual games, and they got us through the pandemic because our free play games were on live sports generally. So we do have a history on it. We are taking 1 million bets a day in certain countries on those historical games. But yeah, I'm much more excited about what's coming up and being able to put those games through aggregators and going out en masse would be interesting. And yeah, from a revenue perspective, it'd be pretty interesting as well. But also staying true to the incentive games sort of history and the free-to-play aspect of it. So there will be, rather than just a game, like a crash game, it will be a system. It will be free-to-play crash plus the pay-to-play ones at the end, and we're creating an ecosystem around that. So it's quite an exciting new proposition that we're bringing to the market, and there's some big clients that have signed up to them already, which is exciting.
Yeah, that's great. Super exciting. And I must admit, I logged on to my Bet365 account earlier today, and I had a go on Prize Matcher, and I got 5 free spins and won £1.45. So I was very pleased with that. Thanks, John.
You're welcome.
All down to you, and I'm sure that reflects my value to Bet365 as a customer. £1.45, not bad. Better than a kick in the teeth. But one thing I did notice is that there were several free-to-play games at the top of the website, and I think several of them, if not all of them, were incentive games. So you've already kind of alluded to the fact that you've got multiple games live with individual operators. So how do you kind of bake it in from the beginning that each game is going to really stand out from the last, basically?
I suppose you work back from what we're trying to achieve. So if you look at the Bet365 one there off the top of my head, you'll see the 6-score challenge, and score predictor weekly. And then we think, how do we differentiate? So if you get 1 out of 6, you get free spins. So we're cross-selling into casino. And that was such a genius move. It was actually not my idea. It was the guys at Bet365, amazing product people over there. We were giving out maybe 3 out of 6, 4 out of 6, 5 out of 6. And then they said, why don't we give them free spins on 1 out of 6 and 2 out of 6? And without having any data, because I can't see their actual real money gaming, I would suggest it's the biggest cross-sell feature in the world, because they've cultivated such a huge amount of sportsbook users. And if you just throw free spins at them, it actually has a negative effect, just giving them free spins. But if you earn free spins, and then they're going and getting themselves acquainted with the casino by earning them, I would suggest it's a much powerful tool. And you've got, that's one example, the 2 of my games for Bet365, but we've got about another 8. One is the 6-horse challenge, which is for the horse racing enthusiasts. We've got an in-play game called Free for All. We've got Goals Giveaway, which is a daily free sports game. So they're all for different purposes. So Goals Giveaway is a daily free sports game. It's a reason to return every day. So yeah, we come from a psychological perspective and work back from that and build a product to fit their needs.
Yeah. And I know you obviously look at these deals from your side, but it's clear you work very closely with the operators. So I'm going to kind of ask you a bit about their intentions. To what extent do you think that cross sell, let's say from sports betting into online casino, to what extent is that like a major motivator for operators to start offering free to play games like those? Do you think it's, is it the main reason? Is it 50% of the reason? Where would you place it on this, in terms of its importance?
So let's talk about cross sell, upsell first, right? So if you look at a lot of my most successful games, there's no upsell. So fives on Virgin Bet, for example, where you collect a player Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and if any of those players score a goal at the weekend, you win £1 or £5, depending on your player value. There's no upsell on that, and that was probably our sort of breakthrough daily free sports game. But because the retention on that game is so powerful, like 80-90% retention week on week, and they're revealing it 4 times during the week, and then they're checking it 4 or 5 times over the weekend. So for one prize or sometimes no prize, we're getting 9 to 10 logins per week. So you don't need an upsell. Your product is good enough. They're there on your site enough. You're front of mind. They will go, play your product. Whereas, an upsell on, your 6-score challenge, you've done 1-0, 1-0, 1-0, 1-0, and we show them a home team accumulator. Yeah, that's an upsell, but that's not where the real value is. It's about getting them back or retention. Cross-sell is a different thing. So, from sports to casino, we do have a lot. We do have a lot of success in that, but where it works best is if you cultivate that user base for long enough and then you cross-sell. If you do it too quickly, the users find you out quickly, and we realize you're not a sportsbook, you're just an acquisition tool for a casino. And that's why it's so effective on the likes of Sky Bet or Bet365, because they've cultivated those users for long enough.
Awesome story, John. Awesome story. And first of all, thanks for giving us the bird's view of obviously, starting as a startup and now just, adjusting to things. First of all, starting with the free to play, now pay to play, etc. And just, providing the working environment, which actually attracts the most talented people into your company as well. And besides, we're on a 24/7 schedule, which was quite funny while visiting each other during Munich, while we are just spending times with you and your mates on the desk. Out of a sudden we were just talking business and ideas flying around, and this just the great thing about you and just discussing things from an entrepreneur to an entrepreneur as well. So first of all, thank you and shout out to this one as well. And as you are one of the most successful people within the industry as well, what's the one advice you would give to anyone else, first of all, struggling or might struggling or, in the verge of founding a company? Is there something you want to shout out?
Yeah, I mean, being general about it, I don't tend to give advice, although I'm quite a loud voice on LinkedIn. It's often tongue in cheek. So, I wouldn't advise anyone to just do the 4-day week or, just follow your passion or don't give up, because a lot of that advice might be the wrong advice for you in particular. I'm good at just persevering in what I'm very good at and sort of honing in on the data. Like everything's a hypothesis until I've proven it. So do that at small scale. Too many times I've just seen, a half-baked product or half-baked idea, and then people just throw marketing money at it and, hope it works. I think, if anything, I'm just a product guy, so just make sure the product's right before you drive customers to it, because you won't retain the customers if you've not got your user journey right and your product is on point. But I do tend to stay away from, blanket statements like don't give up, or, because sometimes the best advice is to give up and start something else. Sorry, I'm not more specific than that.
No, just perfect.
You heard it here first. John Gordon says, give up. No,
just give up.
Advice. It's nearly 3 o'clock. Maybe I'll give up for the afternoon, go and get a beer. Well, unless we've got anything else to add, John, I'm really grateful to you for sharing the inside story on how some of these deals work and what you guys are working on. It's certainly a really exciting business and one that we'll be following long into the future, I'm sure. So let me just say one final thank you very much for joining us. And hopefully we'll have you back here on Weekly News to discuss all the latest and greatest from Incentive Games another time very soon. But thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me. I'd like to come back and make all these announcements whenever you guys will have me.
Thanks, John.
Thank you. Thanks.
We'll be very happy to have you again. See you, John. Well, there you have it, Nico, the inside scoop. We got the live and direct commentary right from the very tippy top of Incentive Games, as we mentioned, doing deals and providing services and products to some of the biggest names in the industry. And yes, it's true. I'm one of the very lucky people who can get away with saying, I had a quick go on your free-to-play gambling game and won some free spins this morning because luckily I work in the industry and it's all in the name of scientific research. So no problem there, I'm sure. Nico, what more can we say this week? What a great interview that was.
Yeah, it's awesome, and what a humble guy. You know, just on a side note, he's just telling us, yeah, you know, we're roughly 100 people. So first of all, he founded a company which is now giving shelter, food, and innovation by 100 people. That's just crazy. And then he actually just dropped a note. Yeah, you know, we sponsored UFC 305. If you just rewatch the fight, the main fight of Dricus Duplessis defeating Israel Adesanya, by submission, the submission actually happens on the Incentive Games banner. I'm not lying here, just rewatch it because I was following this one very, very close and I just dropped the message on drop the message to John as well. You can't believe, you can't make up these stories. Just rewatch it and just take a closer look at what banner is just underneath Israel Adesanya when he is losing the fight by submission. As said, it's awesome, and it was so much fun to actually have him on the podcast as well.
Yeah, it's been great, Nico, and what good product placement that was. Very clever branding from Incentive there, knowing that was exactly where the fella would have to tap out. Well, it's been a blast, Nico. I've got a lot of catching up to do. Like I said, I've been off all week, so it's time for me to dive back into some headlines and back into my inbox and see just exactly what I've been missing. But thanks for bringing me up to speed with your latest headlines. It was great to catch up with John. We better give him one final shout out for joining us. Thank you once again. And thank you to Hub 88 and Playson for sponsoring this episode. Nico, last but not least, thank you very much to you. I'll see you back here at the same place, same time next week, I guess.
Yep, pretty much. And thanks for having me as well. And shout out to each and everyone else. And I'm pretty sure some of you, you know, if you connect the bits and pieces, there was something which you are about to learn on this one. So thank you once again to John. Thanks, Conor, for running an awesome interview. And have a lovely weekend.
Thanks, Nico. Enjoy the rest of your week, and we'll see you all again soon. Bye-bye, everybody.